Welcome everyone to the scholarship ceremony for 2026. We'll just start things off by playing a short video for you, which will introduce you to the Diabetes Hope Foundation. So enjoy, everyone.
The work of Diabetes Hope Foundation started with a golf tournament to help raise funds for kids living with type 1 diabetes, along with community programs and resources for transitioning youth living with T1D.
I've been with DHF for over 10 years now, and I'm currently the chair of the scholarship committee. I believe the foundation has evolved to being one that helps children and teens transition and also provide support in many, many ways as they transition from pediatric to adult care.
From living at home with their parents, with their caregivers, to moving out on their own to school and taking on that self-care also of their diabetes at the same time. It's a lot of transition for them, and we're there at that critical moment.
Passion drives the foundation to ensure that youth living with diabetes have the resources, programs, and recognition to help them succeed through their transition. DHF recognizes and rewards youth for the hard work they put into staying healthy while still accomplishing so much, both academically and in their communities.
Hope comes from the scholarship program in particular, where we really inspire young people to provide us and themselves with the reasons why they should strive for success. And that success is what gives them the hope to reach further, reach higher.
This is an impactful scholarship, and the reward is for not just dealing with diabetes, but challenges in life on top of that, being resilient, being courageous in the face of a chronic disease, as well as allowing them to be rewarded for good diabetes care and good academic care.
I have been celebrated for how hard I tried this. I can keep trying. I can do it again. I could win the day. That's so valuable to myself and to all of the scholarship winners, past and present. I wish that all of the donors would really know how impactful that has been.
It means a lot to me, and a lot of the time at school I'm one of the only people who has type 1 diabetes.
I didn't meet my first type 1 diabetic friend until I was 17.
You don't really meet that many type 1 diabetics around your community. I didn't grow up knowing anybody with diabetes.
Meeting new people today to see other people like me.
I feel like everybody's already a diabestie when you meet them.
It's really nice to kind of get like the 411. Having like a big family, someone to talk to about like type 1 diabetes.
Build a community.
Constant connection to a community.
And hearing all their stories.
Share fun stories.
Or just talk about whatever the heck we want and go totally off book from all the diabetes stuff.
Someone to talk to.
Be around people who get us a little bit more.
Be in a space where you're like comfortable to exist as a type 1 diabetic.
Having like the instant connection that diabetes brings.
I think it's going to help a lot for university.
It's just truly a really wonderful group of people. Thanks.
The Diabetes Hope Foundation has done an amazing job creating a community for youth, including many resources that are available to them to help with a difficult time as they transition from pediatric to adult care.
We could not have gotten thus far without the continued commitment of our donors, our participants, and volunteers. Thank you, all of you, for believing in DHF.
All right, what an amazing video. A great way to kick things off for the night. So good evening, everyone. My name is Lane, and welcome to the 2026 Diabetes Hope Scholarship Ceremony. And I'm a proud Diabetes Hope Foundation alumni and scholarship recipient. I received my scholarship in 2022. So yeah, I've been here for quite a few years, and it's been amazing. I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes at the age of 6 back in 2011. So I just hit my 15-year mark living with diabetes. I am speaking to you all from Guelph. I'm a student at the University of Guelph studying in their One Health program. And for the past year, I've been working as a research assistant in a lab in the field of health geography. So that's a little bit about me, and I'll hand it over to Dan.
Thank you, Lane. Hi, everyone. My name is Dan, and I'm also a DHF alumni. I received my scholarship in 2019, and I was diagnosed with type 1 in 2015. Along with celebrating my 10-year anniversary last year, I also graduated from the computer science program, also at the University of Guelph, like Lane. I'm now living in Toronto, working as a software engineer at Cooperators. It's great to see everyone here tonight. We'd like to start the evening with a land acknowledgement. I am joining you today from Toronto, which is the Dish with One Spoon territory. The Dish with One Spoon is a treaty between the Anishinaabe, Mississaugas, and Haudenosaunee that bound them to share the territory and protect the land. Subsequent Indigenous nations and peoples, Europeans, and all newcomers have been invited into this treaty in the spirit of peace, friendship, and respect. To learn more about the territory you live in, learn, and work in, please visit native-land.ca.
So this evening, we are coming together to celebrate you all. So congratulations. You are all the 2026 scholarship recipients, but we're here to celebrate another thing, and that is the Diabetes Hope Foundation, because this year is a milestone year with them having awarded their 1,000th scholarship and have now awarded over 1,000 scholarships to youth across Canada. So congratulations to the organization. And fun fact to share with you all, I know we're sitting here virtually this evening, and back in 2022, my scholarship ceremony was also virtual. So I was sitting exactly where you are, going through the same thing. And in fact, it was actually my mom who joined me on my behalf for my scholarship ceremony, because I had my high school convocation on the same night, so I couldn't be here. But it turned out that it was a great opportunity because it allowed my mom to see what an incredible community was there to support me. So that was a really valuable experience for her. So for anyone who's here this evening with parents, guardians, friends, kudos to you. That's amazing. I'm sure they'll really enjoy seeing the support system for you too. So looking back on my scholarship in 2022, getting it at the end of high school was a huge achievement. And it was a great celebration of both my diabetes management throughout high school, but then also everything that I balanced at school simultaneously. I was a high school athlete. I'm sure some of you have been through that as well. And so I worked really hard in high school to manage my diabetes so I could represent my school at OFSA for track and field and cross country. And then, balancing academics, university applications, and diabetes too. So the scholarship felt like a huge honor for me and a great way to acknowledge that hard work, but also, as I said before, give me this support system to prepare me for the university journey ahead. So I'll pass it over to Dan now.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, Lane. Looking back, the DHF scholarship ceremony was a pivotal moment in my life. It was a moment where I transitioned from a kid in high school to an adult in the real world. For my parents, it was a send-off moment. It was the day that they realized I was ready to take on the challenges of adulthood and diabetes. There's definitely a few moments that stood out to me that day from my scholarship ceremony with DHF. Meeting the other recipients felt surreal. It was the first time that I interacted with other people that have type 1. It was the first time that I felt like I wasn't alone in this battle. Listening to the speeches from the DHF alumni was something that has stuck with me to this day. Starting post-secondary school can be as scary as it is exciting, and having type 1 diabetes can only make it scarier. The alumni were honest about the challenges that they faced, but they also reminded me that each and every one of us has what it takes to overcome those challenges. They showed me that if I can adapt to a life with type 1 diabetes, there's no doubt that I can adapt to university. The ceremony helped my family and I embrace the transition from high school to university. DHF showed me that even though I was moving out to start school in a different city, I certainly wasn't doing it alone.
Yeah, very well said, Dan. And as I mentioned before, beyond the scholarship itself, the Diabetes Hope Foundation community has truly acted as a constant resource for me and a source of opportunity, and it is going to be there for you as well. So I began volunteering with DHF my first year of university, so back in 2022. So I've been volunteering for 4 years now. In my first year of volunteering with the foundation, I had the privilege of helping to plan the 25th anniversary event for the scholarship, which was really cool. And since then, I've acted as a mentor, a webinar participant, a Campus Connects guide, and Diabetes Hope Foundation has introduced me to many helpful resources through university, including helping me get university accommodations for my diabetes and that sort of thing. So it's helped me feel really empowered navigating adult diabetes care, just both as a person and also as a student. So amazing resources out there for you, even beyond the scholarship.
Yeah, and for me, being a part of the DHF community has significantly changed my life for the better. I wasn't always an active member with DHF. When I first started university and I got the scholarship, life kind of got in the way. And well, let's face it, it's first year university. Life tends to get in the way. But I came back and I decided that it was time to rejoin the community and be more active in my final year of university as I was approaching graduation. And through DHF events and the peer mentorship program, I have made strong, meaningful connections with people who understand the struggles of type 1 diabetes with no explanation required. Kieran, who you will meet later in this ceremony, he's actually in the next room because I met him at a DHF event last summer, and he is now my roommate who I share an apartment in Toronto with. And Anne, who is not here, but Anne is my mentee. I started mentoring Anne at the end of last year, and she is now one of my closest friends today. DHF has shown me the value of connecting with other people who have type 1, and that is something that I will always be grateful for.
Yeah, that's an amazing story. So thanks for sharing, Dan. The connections are so cool that you can build within this community. So congratulations to you all. Starting post-secondary school is a big deal, but so is living with T1D. So the fact that you're doing both is definitely something to be proud of yourself for, give yourself grace for. It's really amazing. So as you navigate both of these challenges together, acknowledge and celebrate your hard work. I know we're here together tonight to do that, but make sure you do that beyond the scholarship ceremony because diabetes and school is a big thing. So make sure you do that. Life will get busy, but remember that this community is here to support you. So don't be a stranger. It's so nice to see you all tonight. And I really hope that I'll get to see some of these familiar faces in the future as well at our, upcoming events and other volunteer opportunities, because the connections you can make here are so valuable, even as Dan has shown us. And having friends with diabetes is just a really special thing. So don't be a stranger, everyone.
That's great advice, Lane. And to add on to that, I want to remind this year's recipients to trust yourselves and to trust the process. Reflect on what you've learned from this journey of living with type 1 and how it has helped you grow as a person. Now, I challenge you to maintain that same mindset for the journey that lies ahead of you. For every low and high blood sugar, every stressful exam, and everything in between, remember to give yourself the credit and compassion you deserve. You've made it this far on the roller coaster of living with type 1, so clearly you have what it takes to keep going. And in the times that you need someone to vent to, someone who truly gets it, look around at your fellow recipients. DHF has your back.
Of course, the connections and support of DHF and the things that they provide us would not exist without our unstoppable founder and CEO, Barbara Pasternak. Barbara launched DHF with a scholarship program in 1999 to support and celebrate everything that student leaders accomplish at school and in the community, all while balancing diabetes like you all. So please join me in thanking Barbara and welcoming her to share her story this evening.
So good evening, ladies and gentlemen, esteemed supporters and partners of DHF. Welcome to our virtual 2026 Diabetes Hope Foundation Scholarship Ceremony. Tonight actually is one of my most favorite nights of the year. It's not just because I share my story, but every year we welcome dozens of young youth who have proved to themselves that they get diabetes and they're ready to move forward to the next part of their life in their transition. It's truly a joy to welcome 42 new scholarship recipients into our ever-growing DHF family. And this year feels especially meaningful as we celebrate awarding over 1,000 scholarships since 1999. This year, we're awarding 1,031 scholarships to be exact, and I'm sure you'll hear that number many times this evening because we're so proud of it, which means somewhere along the way, this little idea that I got very big and very real. Tonight is about recognizing our youth and their courage and their great potential that's going to carry them through. We are truly honored to celebrate you guys today as you embark on this exciting chapter in your personal and educational journey. As founder and CEO, I've had the privilege of watching DHF grow from something that started in our kitchen into a nationally recognized organization. But at its core, it always had the very same concept with the very same theme. Supporting our youth living with diabetes as they transition into adulthood by giving them the tools to succeed, mentorship, programs in the community, and scholarships. Each of you here today carries a story, not just an academic success, but of resilience, determination, And let's be honest, some very inconvenient 3 a.m. alarms. Because managing diabetes isn't a side project. It's not something that you clock in and out of. It's 24/7, no days off. No, I'll deal with this tomorrow. And yet somehow you've all managed that while also becoming leaders in your school, your communities, and your lives, you're ready to move on. That's not just impressive, it's really extraordinary. Now, in past years, I've shared long stories about how DHF began. Tonight, I'll try to keep this a little shorter, but I do want to take you back for a moment. Our family's journey started when 2 of our 3 sons were diagnosed with type 1 diabetes just a few years apart from each other. In that moment, everything changed. I stand here today not just as CEO, but as a mom whose world shifted overnight. Back in 1996, things looked very different. There was no Google, no quick searches, no, let's just check that. And if you had a question, you went to the library and hoped the answer was in the right encyclopedia volume. There was no support for us parents who were putting every effort into life-changing decisions and hoped it worked. And I can mention the seclusion one felt in the world of manic blood sugars, juices, and insulin injections. So there we were, Joe and I, my husband, trying to figure this out in a world without Wi-Fi, but with a lot of worry. I stepped away from my career because diabetes quickly became a full-time job. Joe became the most dedicated hockey and soccer coach you've ever seen, partly out of love and partly so he can keep a very close eye on our boys, Bobby and Jesse. And their older brother, Harley, he became the personal trainer and assistant hockey coach. He basically turned the science from his degree in kinesiology into personal training for his younger brothers by giving Bobby and Jesse workouts to build muscle and endurance and strength for very competitive games. This, along with their grit and determination, gave them stamina to deal with 5 days, sometimes 7 days, along with practices. Well, I became the manager of the team. My role was to maintain control of the overly rambunctious parents who felt Joe didn't give their son enough ice play time. So what seemed like a devastating diagnosis brought the family together and gave our sons the support to play like heck, and we were all there to catch them if they fell. Our lives became a cycle of clinic visits, sports schedules, insulin reminders, and those unforgettable overnight lows, especially after late hockey games. And then there was the 3 a.m. checks, which sometimes felt like a gentle wake up and more like a family wrestling event. But sometimes something very important happened during these visits. In those waiting rooms, I met other parents. We shared stories, fears, tips, and sometimes that look that says, "Are you as tired as I am?" And yet, in the middle of regular clinic appointments, I recognized a young man who I knew his parents. I approached him with a hug, and I asked him how he was doing. He told me that this was his last visit. He was heading off to Western University. Now, that, to me, would have sounded like a moment of pure excitement, independence, new beginnings. But he wasn't excited. He was very scared. He was leaving behind his loving and supportive healthcare team, his support system, everything familiar, and suddenly he was expected to manage it all on his own. And then that's what hit me. There was a gap, a big one. We try so hard to prepare our kids so carefully, and then one day we say, okay, good luck. That moment led to the creation of DHF scholarships. The idea was simple: to support young people living with diabetes and to recognize the disciplines it takes, not just to succeed academically, but to manage the life every single day. I brought the idea to the team of 6 kids, Dr. Ehrlich, Dr. Danneman, and Marcia Frank, and I'm very grateful that they believed in it. Now I'll tell you a little secret about those early days. I walked into the clinic with 15 applications that I had mimeographed, because at that time we don't photocopy, we mimeographed, fully expecting 15 students to apply. We got 9. We got 9 kids applying. This was a time when we had no funding, no donors, no structures, just an idea. So Joe and I did what any slightly determined and maybe slightly stubborn parents would do. We funded it ourselves. 4 scholarships, $1,500 each. And the first ceremony, a golf tournament at Sleepy Hollow. Very glamorous, very official, or at least we told ourselves it was. But it wasn't about the setting, it was about the message. We see you, we recognize what you're doing, and we believe in your future. And that message still guides everything we do. From the small beginnings to the 1,031 scholarships, it's honestly incredible how we have made such a tremendous dent in the diabetes world. And along the way, what's inspired me most is not just the growth of this organization, but the people in it, our alumni, our volunteers, our donors, our board, our advisory committee. This is truly a village, and it's a very, very dedicated village. To our staff, Anita, Heather, Karen, Vivian, and Rav, who continue to take our youth and alumni programs to new heights. Thank you for your passion and your commitment. And to our board of directors, led by Peter Atkins, thank you for your leadership. To Dr. Angelo and our Scholarship Advisory Committee, thank you for your care, your integrity, and the thoughtful way you guide this process. And to our alumni, you are the heart of DHF. You prove every day what is possible, because what we see year after year is something remarkable. We see young people turning challenges into strength. We see resilience in action. We see leaders. And tonight, we celebrate all of that, our 2026 recipients. Your stories matter, your journeys matter, and what you've already accomplished is just the beginning. We are so proud to welcome you to the DHF family. And now it's my honor to invite someone who plays a tremendous role in our DHF community, Dr. Angelo Simone. As pediatric endocrinologist with Trillium Healthcare Partners, a member of the board, our chair of our scholarship advisor, a leader in every way, who possesses a calm and logical process of allowing us to voice our opinions during our meetings. He understands firsthand the dedication it takes to manage diabetes while pursuing your goals. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Angelo Simone.
Thank you, Barb. It's a pleasure to be here with all of you this evening, and it is a landmark year as we award our 1,000th scholarship and beyond. I want to commence by just a special thank you to the advisory committee. As you mentioned, this is a group of volunteers consisting, for the first time, a significant number of alumni. They are a dedicated group. They work hard. They review many scholarship applications over many hours. And then we meet, and when we decide our recipients, there's always some heated debate, and everyone participates in this democratic process with passion. And it's just wonderful to see how they come forward and they advocate for candidates that they believe strongly should be a recipient. So this is a group whose work should not go unnoticed. So I want to start by thanking them. I'm also happy to see that we have increased the number of alumni participating in this committee. So it's an opportunity for me to ask all of you who are receiving awards this evening to think about this as a potential opportunity to participate in our organization and pay it forward sometime in the near future. I want to congratulate all of the scholarship recipients in this landmark year. Your stories, your courage, your determination, despite having a chronic illness that is at times overwhelming, has really touched us. And that's why you're here this evening. You should be very, very proud of your accomplishments. And to you, Barb, I want to just take a minute to acknowledge the hard work, the fearless determination that you have shown us. And you truly are our fearless leader. The fact that we have over 1,000 scholarships awarded is a testament to the hard work and the solid foundation that you and Joe laid many years ago. You're the reason why many of us continue to be involved in this organization, because we draw from you hope and inspiration. And I also want to finish by saying that this is a very special year for also my family, as it's the first year that we will be awarding a family-sponsored scholarship. I want to take a minute to just go over some of the statistics and background of the Scholarship Advisory Committee and the awards that we've handed out. Many of you are new to this organization, so just to give a bit of a background, our scholarship program I see as really being the heart of this foundation. And the objectives are very clear. We reward by providing some financial assistance to young adults who are living with type 1 diabetes and transitioning from secondary to post-secondary education. We attempt to encourage and identify leaders in our community who have demonstrated volunteerism and leadership, and to identify those who have achieved success not only in their diabetes care, but in being a role model for other youth living with diabetes, and a means by which we can provide youth in transition with some information and resources as they transition from pediatric to adult diabetes care. As mentioned, Barb started this in her kitchen in 1999 with some applicants from Sick Kids Hospital, and today we have expanded to all 10 provinces and the Yukon Territory. And to date, the scholarship has processed over 2,600 applications, and we have just heard we'll be awarding number 1,031 scholarship this evening. Over the last 20 years, we've awarded an average of 43 scholarships annually, and this is from support from across the diabetes community. This year, 201 applications were submitted in completed format, reviewed by our committee, and this has represented an annual trend increase of 10% year over year in the number of submissions. So we do need help. We do need more people on the committee. So another call out to all you alumni to think about this in the future. We talk about our Circle of Hope. We feel that it's an entry point to our Diabetes Hope Foundation family. So being a scholarship recipient, participating in Hope Connects, peer support programs, helping to develop and deliver programs and resources, you have an opportunity to volunteer at several aspects, and of course on our Scholarship Advisory Committee as well. Your lived experience, your knowledge about diabetes, your history, and your connection to this foundation is crucial, and we really look forward to welcome you on board at some time in the future. So again, congratulations to all the recipients, and I look forward to many more years of participation by all the members on this committee.
Thank you so much for sharing the story of DHF and the scholarship program with us. It's inspiring to hear firsthand about how you have grown the organization so much, Barbara, and that the scholarship has continued to expand and support so many students across Canada with your passion and expertise, Dr. Simone.
Amazing. Thank you so much. So next, we would like to welcome DHF alumni Ethan Parikh and Asta Raylon to share their experiences with T1D, their journey after their ceremony, and the importance of expanding your community as you continue your educational journey. So Ethan received his scholarship in 2021 and has been involved with DHF as a volunteer, a mentor, and an advocate ever since. Ethan completed his undergraduate degree at McMaster University for Health Sciences and is now a medical student at the University of Toronto in the Temerity Faculty of Medicine. And Asta also studied health sciences at McMaster and then went on to complete her master's in health research methodology. And Asta is now a medical student at Queen's University. So welcome, both of you, and I look forward to hearing from you.
Thanks so much, Lane and Dan, for the introductions. It's truly a privilege to be here and speak with you all today. Such a strong and accomplished group of scholarship recipients and alumni who have done and continue to do really amazing things. It was actually 2 weeks ago at DHF's annual golf tournament that I first heard that the ceremony would be celebrating over 1,000 scholarship recipients all across Canada, and that's an incredible milestone. And such an amazing community that all the scholarship recipients now are joining. I must say I'm glad my invitation today didn't rely on my performance that day on the course. Both Asta and I are so excited to share some of our lived experiences around navigating the transition to university, thriving at university, and most importantly, staying happy and healthy. You'll notice that throughout our talk today, Asta and I have similar academic backgrounds and perhaps even some common shared experiences. But you'll also notice that our transitions in university experiences are different, and yours will be too. Everyone's journey is different, but throughout my scholarship ceremony back in 2021, as well as emceeing previous ceremonies and meeting members of the diverse DHF community, I've learned how impactful it can be to learn from the personal experiences of others, and we're so grateful to be sharing our personal experiences today. And before I pass things off to Asta, we acknowledge that all the tools, strategies, and insights we're sharing with you today are reflective of our personal journeys and are by no means an exemplar to be followed. Although I must say, I think Asta and I did pretty well.
I agree. And I think a lot of that is really thanks to the support that we have at DHF. And I really remember that feeling of uncertainty. There's so much that's unknown. There's so much that's changing when you start post-secondary. But there's one thing that's for certain, and that's your sensors are going to keep sensing, your pumps are going to keep pumping, and whatever diabetes tech you're using, it's going to keep beeping probably, and you'll figure out what works for you. And we know there've been some excellent reflections from Lane and Dan. So Ethan and I are really going to focus more on the journey through post-secondary with T1D, some of the challenges that we've faced and our successes as well, and the communities that we've found and built.
Yeah, so reflecting on my journey through post-secondary while navigating type 1, I have a few pieces of advice to share. The first would be to be proactive. So things generally, I think we can all agree, go smoother when we're prepared, and that is especially true with diabetes. I'm a big proponent of spending your summer relaxing and recharging, especially before university. It's such a busy time, and I'm certain you'll do your best if you're fresh heading in. That being said, there are some things that you can start to think about this summer to make sure you're set up for success before university. Some of these include starting the process of looking into accommodations if that's something you're interested in. That process requires sometimes some documentation, letters, speaking with the academic office, as well as looking into food options like the meal plans, what campus food options there are, and also the proximity to your classes and making healthy choices, as well as rearranging your class schedules to fit your preferences, where the nearby pharmacy is, the medical clinic on campus, hopefully not, but the nearby emergency center, among many other things. And so it's very important to look into these and don't feel any pressure, but those are just some ideas. And if you want a more in-depth discussion about preparing for university, I collaborated with Diabetes Link U of T and DHF to lead a webinar series called Demystifying Diabetes. And we highlight some key things to think about in the summer before. And so that's available on DHF's website and the YouTube. Also, be sure to check out many of the resources DHF has, including university-specific resources, webinar recordings, handouts, and the Guide to Adult Care. A second piece of advice is that type 1 should not hold you back from pursuing really cool things. And so during my university experience, I extended far beyond the comfort zone of my grade 12 self to seek new opportunities, try new things, meet new people, and all while striving to stay on top of my diabetes. So some of the few things I was involved in, the intramural sports like soccer and basketball. I loved being a personal trainer for athletes with chronic conditions. I modeled in fashion shows. I led Welcome Week programming for the health sciences faculty, among many others. I also studied a bit here and there. Now in medical school, things are busier than ever, but I still prioritize my well-being and stay involved in the diabetes community. I'm very fortunate to say that I've been able to present research at national diabetes conferences. I've implemented new medical school curriculum around type 1, done some really cool backpacking trips like the 75-kilometer West Coast Trail on Vancouver Island in BC. And most recently, and this is my favorite, I trained and ran the Toronto Half Marathon in May, which required a whole new learning curve about long distance endurance activity in type 1. So again, type 1 should not hold you back from pursuing really cool things.
Ethan, how am I supposed to follow up from that? I always love hearing what people like Ethan are up to because I think it really shows how diverse DHF is and everyone's coming from different places, studying different things, doing different cool things, and even at different stages of their transition, right? And I remember in first year, I thought, okay, like I'll make it through the first week and I'll have it figured out. And then I was like, okay, I'll wait through the first month and then I'll have it figured out. And then it was like beyond my first year and I'm like, I still don't have it figured out. And I've been a first year, I think like 5 different times in my life, and I still don't have it figured out. And I think that that's totally okay. I think that that really taught me that transitions are ongoing and sometimes they come when you least expect them. The biggest thing for me that's evolved is my commute. So I remember in my first year, I had to take like a 30-minute bus ride. And then a bit into my master's, I was doing a 45-minute drive. And then I started to fly to different places for conferences, kind of like Ethan, and those were 3-4 hour flights. And now I'm driving back and forth between Milton and Kingston to see my parents every weekend or so. And so I think that kind of evolution of your schedule changes, your environment changes, that's all an ongoing transition and just staying flexible and resilient, which you all have lots of practice with, given that you're scholarship recipients today and you're able to really manage those highs and lows. That's a common pun that we'll be using throughout this ceremony and beyond. The other thing that Lane mentioned really briefly that I just want to dive deeper into was I wish I gave myself more grace through my transition. And I'm going to share 2 specific facts with you. They're fun facts. The first is that these researchers from Stanford found that T1Ds like you and I make 180 extra daily decisions every single day. And that's a lot of decisions, and not all of those go to plan, right? And the second fun fact is that there's over 42 different factors that affect your blood sugar. So everything from like stress to the temperature, right? And those are often outside of your control. And I think putting those two facts together, I came to this realization that we really need to be kinder to ourselves. And when I had my own mentees through the Hope Connects program, I started to see this difference in the way that I would talk to them versus myself. And I felt like if I could be kinder to myself, then maybe I'd have a little less rage bolusing and a little less over treatment of my lows. So those are two kind of pieces of advice that I wanted to share.
Yeah, and kind of on that note of challenges, I think ultimately challenges are inevitable, but it's truly about how we learn and grow from them that really matters. So I want to talk about two challenges that I faced that I think could be relatable to you. And firstly, that's balancing type 1 with school involvements. So school, no matter where you are, it gets busy, but type 1 doesn't really give us a break. It requires constant management and care. And so figuring out how best to manage your type 1 during long days of studying, sports, extracurriculars, and whatever else you enjoy being involved in can be challenging. And so make sure you plan ahead, especially on busier days, and try to rely on your strong community of support to help you. For me personally, this means, scheduling time throughout the day to check in on my sugars, checking in with friends, and being proactive about scheduling appointments if I need more support. And the second point is that spontaneity with type 1 is sometimes inevitable, and that in and of itself can be challenging. So university can sometimes feel like the days are really long, like long days of classes and extracurriculars, but the months are short. Things can get busy, especially day to day. And during those times, making the time to eat, sleep well, and exercise can be very challenging. Sometimes a class for me would end early and I would have some extra time to go to the gym, but the gym might be really busy, or I'd have a lot of insulin on board, or I'd be on one side of campus studying and realize my cartridge was running low and I already used my backup. Or even last month, my pump beeped in class and someone asked me if I was on call. I must say I was flattered they thought I was knowledgeable enough to hold the pager at my level of training, but as Bruce Lee famously said, be water, my friend. In other words, stay adaptable, be fluid, let go, and you'll cruise through your obstacles.
I love that. Be water, maybe be juice if you're type 1 and you're going low. But I was going to share my kind of biggest challenge that I faced this year actually was living alone and living away from home. And maybe some of you will experience that as well in this coming year. And the biggest thing for me was the shift of responsibilities. So I feel like at my parents' house, there's this like never ending stock of juice in their fridge. And it's like magically restocked. Like I don't think we've ever run out of juice in my parents' house. And then when I moved to my own place, and within the first week, I'd finished my juice bottle, and I realized like, oh, no one's going to restock that for me. That's actually my job now. And there's little things that you're going to pick up and kind of find gaps maybe, and you're going to fill them yourself in your own way. But I think through that, just to kind of help cope with that, just staying in touch with friends and family was really important. So I'm a big FaceTimer, which is kind of funny because I feel like our generation sometimes hates even calling, but give it a shot. I'm sure your parents would love to hear from you once in a while. The other thing is I realized that comparison can be the thief of joy. And so some of my friends, they cook these elaborate meals like shrimp rice and whatever. And that's not my strong suit. I don't really cook as much. My mom sends food for me sometimes. And I think it's just realizing that whatever system works for you, and it doesn't have to be the same that other people are doing. And you might find that there's going to be peer pressure, maybe about going out or drinking. And similarly, setting your boundaries and just staying true to what you want to do, I think is something I wish my first year did more, and I'm still learning. The other thing is the stigma that maybe you've faced so far, it still exists. I still have medical students, Ethan, who look at me with my sensor and they don't know what it is, or they're asking me like, okay, here's a Timbit, but can you really have that? And some days I'm able to respond with curiosity and maybe engage them in a conversation and try to like dispel the myth. But other days, I just don't have that energy, and I think that's okay. You don't have to be the poster child for T1D, and I think you will find your people, and it might take time, and they might not be the people you meet on the first day of class. But my friends, they always ask me, Asla, do you want to take the stairs or the elevator? And it depends on my blood sugar. So they know if I'm low, we're taking the elevator, and if I'm high, you bet my friends are taking 4 flights of stairs with me. And yeah, I think those are two kind of major challenges. But again, challenges come and go, and you keep moving.
Yeah, for sure. Actually, for me, some days I really can't have that Timbit, but that's a conversation for another day. I'm going to end off by talking about community and how it's shaped my journey living with type 1. I must say I'm very grateful to be part of several smaller communities within the larger type 1 and diabetes community that have really shaped my journey and identity as someone living with type 1. First and foremost, and I think most importantly and relevant, is a big thank you to the Diabetes Hope Foundation for all the support, resources, and the community that they've given me since receiving my scholarship in 2021. So from the mentorship program, social events, webinars, and everything in between, it's been really amazing to be part of this organization as an alumni now. And secondly, I'm grateful for the patients I get to learn from as a medical student and even within the type 1 diabetes research space. Through several community-based research projects, I have the privilege of engaging with patients with type 1 like yourself and caregivers and contributing to meaningful improvements in peer support, reducing diabetes-related stigma, and transitional care to adult care. These communities have taught me so much and have shaped my perspectives around what it truly means to live with type 1. And smaller communities along the way, from the McMaster Diabetes Association, where I actually first met Asta, to now being part of other organizations like Diabetes Link, Diabetes Canada, and many other impactful ones. And so I will leave you with this thought that I encourage you to seek these communities. Sometimes they won't always show up right away, but if you're resilient and look for these opportunities, they can really have a positive impact on your journey.
Yeah, and to just add on with some of the positive impacts that DHF has had for me specifically, any idea that I kind of bring forth, I feel like Heather and Rav and the whole team is just totally open to making it come to life. So here are some of the crazy ideas I've had. We wanted to start a podcast, so we've launched the Diabetes Dialogue, which is available for streaming if you're interested, and we get to interview some really cool guests. We write children's books, and the most latest one is called The Sideline Secret. I have a copy here. We were able to really work on the illustrations with Aaron and write dialogues and really bring our lived experiences to life. We have this showcase where we're able to share artwork and poetry. I did a spoken word poem at the last one. We've connected different clubs, kind of like Ethan mentioned, with the McMaster Diabetes Association and all the clubs in the different universities, as many as would participate. We had this event called Don't Sugarcoat It, and you could meet people kind of like today from across the country. And finally, really the scholarship committee being that full circle for me and being able to speak today, I'm sure for Ethan as well, is just really fulfilling. And I know that we're so excited to see where your journeys will take you. And maybe one day you'll be here sharing your own stories and reflections. And so we just want to wish you all the best and really congratulate you. Really big achievement. So congratulations and thank you.
Thank you both so much for adding to our know-how and being amazing role models and advocates. And by the way, Ethan, it looks like I'll have to reach out to you after this ceremony because I am also doing a 60-kilometer hike on the coast of Vancouver Island this summer. So keep an eye on your DMs. And yeah, it is now my pleasure to introduce you to Matt Paccioni and Catherine Houghton, DHF alumni, Scholarship Advisory Committee members, and true community leaders, to share a few words and to announce this year's recipients.
I'm Matt. I received my scholarship in 2009. I'm currently a secondary school teacher with the Rainbow School Board in Sudbury, Ontario.
And I'm Catherine, and I received my scholarship in 2018. I'm currently in law school at the University of Windsor. Both Matt and I were members of the Diabetes Hope Foundation Scholarship Advisory Committee, and we had the privilege of reading all of your applications this year.
It's unbelievable that there's been 1,000 of us, 1,000 scholarship winners, that one of you is technically receiving it, 1,000 incredible diabetics. And as a teacher, I want to emphasize that each and every one of you would impress anyone with your accomplishments. And to have diabetes on top of all that makes it all the more special.
Friends and loved ones, we see you and celebrate you too. Without the support of our families, we would not be able to accomplish all that we do. So thank you for being there with juice boxes, gummies, and the occasional nagging.
And to our donor partners, thank you for believing in these amazing individuals, for recognizing the work they have put into managing their health while accomplishing so much, and for helping them pursue their career goals with your support.
With that in mind, we want to highlight this incredible milestone. This year marks over 1,000 scholarships awarded through DHF. This reflects years of hard work and perseverance in all areas of your life: school, work, extracurriculars, community involvement, and diabetes management on top of it all. You've all worked so hard to get where you are. And as I reflect on being a teenager with type 1 and all the challenges that come with it, it heals something in me to see the impact of this scholarship and acknowledging how far you've come and how far you'll go.
And now let's get to what we are all here to do, celebrating the 2026 Diabetes Hope Foundation Scholarship Recipients. Okay, our first two scholarships are presented on behalf of Abbott Diabetes Care to Jensen Adler, who is joining us from Alberta. Jensen will be attending the Alberta University of the Arts to pursue a Bachelor of Design, and Courtney Leach, who is joining us from British Columbia. Courtney will be attending Vancouver Island University to pursue a Bachelor of Education.
Our next scholarship is presented on behalf of Eskencia Diabetes Care to Melody Reid, who is joining us from Ontario. Melody will be attending Candler College in their Social Services Worker Program.
Our next two scholarships are presented on behalf of the Anna Ruth Atkins Memorial Fund to Ella Gervais, who is joining us from Ontario. Ella will be attending the University of Toronto to study engineering science. And Jaskiran Kael, who is joining us from British Columbia. Jaskiran will be attending Capilano University to pursue a degree in early childhood care and education.
Our next scholarship is presented on behalf of Senator Norman K. Atkins Memorial Fund to Chloe Elise, who is joining us from Ontario. Chloe will be attending the University of Ottawa to pursue a degree in political science and communications in the French Immersion Co-op program.
Our next scholarship is presented on behalf of the Aubrey and Marla Down Foundation to Lauren Dowson, who is joining us from Ontario. Lauren will be attending Carleton University to pursue an undeclared Bachelor of Arts.
Our next scholarship is presented on behalf of Eve Ailing Fund to Emma Chianglo, who is joining us from Ontario. Emma will be attending the University of Waterloo in the Mathematics and Chartered Professional Accountancy program.
Our next scholarship is presented on behalf of Bulldogs family and friends to Jake Stamper, who is joining us from Ontario. Jake will be attending the University of Guelph to pursue a degree in water resources engineering.
Our next scholarship is presented on behalf of Breakthrough 21D to Mackenzie Nunn, who is joining us from Ontario. Mackenzie will be attending the University of Guelph to pursue her Bachelor of Arts in Sciences in Child Studies.
Our next scholarship is presented on behalf of the Canavan family to Karen Demi-Laurie, who is joining us from Ontario. Karen will be studying at McMaster University in their Life Sciences Gateway.
Our next scholarship is presented on behalf of Dexcom Canada to Parker McPherson, who is joining us from British Columbia. Parker will be attending Huron University to pursue a degree in Management and Organizational Studies.
Our next scholarship is presented on behalf of the DHF Alumni Legacy Fund to Maeve Bellaman, who is joining us from British Columbia. Maeve will be attending the University of Toronto to pursue a humanities degree.
Our next scholarship is presented on behalf of Diabetes Canada to Lola Mann, who is joining us from Ontario. Lola will be attending Laurentian University to pursue a Bachelor of Science specializing in kinesiology combined with a Bachelor of Education for the junior intermediate level.
Our next three scholarships are presented on behalf of Mbekta to Nora Hegedus, who is joining us from Alberta. Nora will be attending Mount Royal University to pursue a Bachelor of Nursing. And Kate Takars, who is joining us from Saskatchewan. Kate will be attending Saskatchewan Polytechnic to pursue a bilingual collaborative Bachelor of Science in Nursing. And Janica Van Alstein, who is joining us from Ontario. Janica will be attending Laurier to study health sciences.
Our next two are presented on behalf of Fluid Hose and Coupling to Joshua Matheson, who is joining us from British Columbia. Josh will be attending Simon Fraser University to complete a BA in Social Sciences. And to Ian Skeffer, who is joining us from British Columbia. Ian will be attending Simon Fraser University to pursue a degree in engineering.
Our next scholarship is presented on behalf of the Harold Lusthouse Memorial Fund to Jameson Pekonski, who is joining us from Ontario. Jameson will be attending the University of Waterloo to complete his honors degree in mathematics.
Our next scholarship is presented on behalf of the Jeremy and Judith Freeman Foundation to Isabel Reese, who is joining us from Ontario. Isabel will be attending the University of Toronto to study industrial engineering.
Our next scholarship is presented on behalf of the Malcolm Perkins Memorial Fund to Andrew Droppert, who is joining us from Ontario. Andrew will be attending Humber Polytechnic in their Carpentry and Renovation Techniques program.
Our next scholarship is presented on behalf of the Marlene Perkins Memorial Fund to Lila Smith, who is joining us from Ontario. Lila will be attending Dalhousie University to pursue a degree in medical sciences.
Our next three scholarships are presented on MiniMed Canada to Maya Barayas, who is joining us from Ontario. Maya will be attending the University of Waterloo to complete her Honours Bachelor of Arts with Co-op, and Graham Dixon, who is joining us from Ontario. Graham will be attending the University of Guelph to study microbiology and immunology with Co-op. And Jeremiah Purnell, who is joining us from Ontario. Jeremiah will be attending Humber College in the Police Foundations program.
Our next 4 scholarships are presented on behalf of Novo Nordisk to Sophie Poulin, who is joining us from Ontario. Sophie will be attending the University of Ottawa to pursue an honors degree in biomedical science. And to Jenna Rossiter, who is joining us from New Brunswick. Jenna will be attending the Maritime College of Forest Technology and their Forest Technology program. And to Hallie Story, who is joining us from Ontario. Hallie will be attending Lakehead University to pursue a degree in concurrent education and psychology. And to Julia Sass, who is joining us from Alberta. Julia will be attending the University of Calgary to pursue a Bachelor of Science in Biological Sciences degree.
Our next 2 scholarships are presented on behalf of Insulet Omnipod to Evan Elberg, who is joining us from Ontario. Evan will be attending Queen's University to complete his Bachelor's of Science degree, and Janice Huang, who is joining us from Quebec. Janice will be attending the University of Pennsylvania to complete a degree in Health and Societies.
Our next 2 scholarships are presented on behalf of the Pasternak Family Fund to Emily Cameron, who is joining us from Ontario. Emily will be attending Dalhousie University to pursue a Bachelor of Science. And to Bettina Zhang, who is joining us from Ontario. Bettina will be attending the University of Toronto to study mathematical and physical sciences.
Our next 3 scholarships are presented on behalf of the Sigalum Family Fund to Claire Conway, who is joining us from Ontario. Claire will be attending the University of Western Ontario to pursue a degree in nursing. And Chase McDermott, who is joining us from Nova Scotia. Chase will be attending Dalhousie University to pursue a degree in commerce. And Pearl Minhas, who is joining us from Ontario. Pearl will be attending York University to pursue a degree in kinesiology and health sciences.
Our next scholarship is presented on behalf of the Simone Family Fund to Ava Lynn Harrison, who is joining us from Ontario. Ava Lynn will be attending Confederation College to complete the Police Foundations program.
Our final 4 scholarships are presented on behalf of the Walker Wood Foundation to Cole Humphreys, who is joining us from Alberta. Cole will be attending Bow Valley College to pursue a diploma in social work. And Kai Morgant, who is joining us from Ontario. Kai will be attending the University of Ottawa to study computer engineering. And Cole Price, who is joining us from British Columbia. Cole will be attending the University of British Columbia to pursue a degree in applied science and engineering. And Baden Smith, who is joining us from British Columbia. Baden will be attending Simon Fraser University to pursue a Bachelor of Arts and Health Sciences. Congratulations to this year's scholarship recipients.
Amazing, everyone. The whole DHF community is so happy for you and so proud of you all.
Congratulations. I'd like to now introduce Andrea Segulam, a DHF supporter and donor and mom to her own T1D, to share some advice as you all prepare for the excitement that lies ahead in September.
Hi, my name is Andrea Segulam. I'm here today to talk to you about type 1 diabetes and the transition into university for our graduating students. Before I continue, I want to recognize the foundation that has helped bring us together today, Diabetes Hope Foundation. My husband and I have been huge supporters, not only by being scholarship donors, but also participating in many of the programs that DHF has to offer. From the mentor program to podcasts and webinars, DHF covers every aspect of support, learning, building relationships with other T1Ds. I'm always amazed what I learn to better support my daughter's diabetes management. And I also enjoy helping others by sharing tips and tricks that work for our family. So thank you so much, Barb, for starting this amazing foundation, and congratulations on reaching your 1,000 Scholarship Award. As a mother of a daughter living with type 1 diabetes who will be heading off to university next year, standing here today feels deeply personal. Like many parents preparing to send their children into the world, I feel a mix of overwhelming pride, excitement, and if I'm being truthful, a little fear. Because when your child lives with type 1 diabetes, you are not just packing dorm supplies and textbooks and extra blankets. You're packing insulin, low snacks, glucagon, pump supplies, chargers, prescriptions, and emergency plans. And quietly, as a parent, you're also packing years of worry, midnight blood sugar checks, and habits of always listening for the CGM alarm to go off. Letting go looks a little different. One of the most valuable pieces of advice we have learned from DHF is to encourage our children to become independent advocates for themselves and to build their support system before arriving at university. Those words matter because transition to university is about so much more than just academics. It's about learning how to manage life independently. And for students living with diabetes, that responsibility can feel bigger, heavier, and more complex. I recognize that diabetes is considered a disability, and I understand why. There are exhausting days filled with numbers that don't make sense, devices that fail, interrupted sleep, mental overload, anxiety, frustration, and burnout. Diabetes doesn't take a day off. But in our home, my husband and I have always tried to teach Ariel that diabetes is simply a diagnosis. It does not have to define who she is or what she can achieve. In many ways, we believe it has helped build and strengthen the confidence she brings to every challenge she faces. We have encouraged her to focus not on what diabetes demands of her, but also on what it has developed within her. Living with diabetes requires resilience, responsibility, problem solving, adaptability, courage, discipline, and compassion. These are not small qualities. These are strengths, and I believe many of our young adults possess far more strengths than they even realize. Today's generation is stepping into adulthood during an incredible era of technological advancements. CGMs, insulin pumps, smart apps, and remote monitoring have transformed diabetes care in ways families before us could only imagine. These tools do not remove the burden of diabetes, but they do provide greater confidence, greater independence, and greater freedom. Our children are not walking into university alone. They are walking in with knowledge, technology, support system, and an entire community like DHF standing behind them. Perhaps the most important thing we can give our children is the belief that they are capable of stepping forward on their own. Our instinct as parents is to solve problems and to step in for every challenge, but this next chapter belongs to them. Diabetes will continue to be something they manage, but it should never be mistaken for a measure of what they can achieve. It is only one part of their lives, not the headline. As a parent, that gives me every reason to look ahead with confidence and excitement for all that is still to come. Congratulations to all the students receiving scholarships today and to the parents and families who have supported them along the way. Today is a celebration of your hard work, your resilience, and the exciting future that lies ahead.
Thank you so much, Andrea. I know both of my parents would have truly benefited from hearing your words before I started university. So now it is my true honor to invite Chair of the Diabetes Hope Foundation Board, Peter Atkins, to the stage to share some closing remarks this evening.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Peter Atkins. I'm the chair of the Diabetes Hope Foundation Board of Directors. On behalf of the board, I want to thank the 2026 Scholarship Committee who have done a great job. And I would also like to thank Barbara and Dr. Simone, put a lot of effort into this as they do every year. And each year it gets better and better, the whole process. And for those of us, such as myself, who are a participant on this committee, it's so nice having it so well managed. And the participation, particularly of more and more alumni every year. We love having you. I want to congratulate all of our recipients. It's a great milestone, passing our 1,000th scholarship and hitting 1,031. To the recipients, I want to say to you, be proud of what you've accomplished. You are the ones who've driven your success. You should pat yourselves on the back. I hope that our application process has caused you to reflect on what you've accomplished and everything you are capable of achieving in the future. Be very proud. You're very deserving of this. I would like you to consider making the most of what Diabetes Hope has to offer. Barbara and I came together 30 years ago, and diabetes has connected us. I am a T1D, and Barbara was a caregiver and still is a caregiver to many people who have diabetes. And we share that as a common community. And what Diabetes Hope offers is a powerful network, and we have a lot to offer. I've been serving as the board chair since January of 24. Our goal remains making a big difference in the lives of young people impacted by diabetes. And we want this charity to be strong for as long as diabetes exists. So congratulations on all you have accomplished. We're looking forward to all that you have ahead of you and seeing how you can enrich the DHF community by bringing some of what you offer to others who are still in the learning process. There's a lot of focus on research and cures, and we have focused our attention on the situation for young people with diabetes right now. And we are here to help, and we've created programs that are very aiding people with diabetes. And I hope you will consider taking advantage of that. So, for example, Hope Connects, Adult Care Transition, the ACT program, T1D Community Arts. These are all programs that are very beneficial to people who take advantage of them. And what you need to understand is we offer so much online, and it's easy to access and to benefit from. Young people living with diabetes learn a discipline about life and their health and a responsibility that often makes them healthier and more successful than their peers without T1D. And that's because you face challenges and responsibilities that others haven't experienced at the age you're at. And you will find T1D will benefit you in ways that you may have never, ever predicted. But I can assure you, as a friend, as a worker, an employee, as a caregiver, you are somebody who has had experiences that so many others have not. And that makes you a very, very strong human being as a result. I'm proud of all that you have done to deserve your scholarships. I wish you unlimited success in your future endeavors. We are anxious to hear from you, and please stay in touch with us. And congratulations, and I'll hand it back to Dan and Lane. Thank you.
Thank you, Peter. Before we wrap up, I would like to invite Barbara back to the stage to share some final words with us.
I have to say, I truly love the way the scholarship event went. Thank you, Heather, and thank you, Rav, and thank you to all the incredible speakers. You're brilliant. Your words of wisdom really hit home, and it brought me back 30 years ago when I was that parent and was always anxious. But at the end of the day, our kids surprise us, and they really get it. They grow, they figure things out, and in the end, they really do get it. I have to share how proud Joe and I are of our 3 sons. They've all grown into wonderful people and amazing parents. That brings me to a short poem I put together for all of you this evening. But before I begin, I just want to wish everyone a wonderful summer and a successful year ahead and a life filled with joy at every level. So here goes. You're stepping into your life now, real choices, real freedom, real responsibilities. And yes, still doing math before breakfast, some habits never change. Diabetes didn't wait for you to feel ready, rude, honestly, but look at you, learning, adapting, and showing up anyway. Some days you'll feel completely on top of it, like you've got a pancreas with a PhD. Other days, total plot twist, and you'll figure it out because you always do. You've already built a kind of strength most people your age haven't even downloaded yet. So go, take the independence, take the risks, take the snacks, and seriously, always take the snacks. Your life isn't on hold. It's already happening with no intermission. Congratulations, graduates. You've been tested, and not just in exams, but you've won. Go grab what's next and rock the world. Your journey's just begun, and you're more ready than you think.
God bless.
Congratulations once again, everyone. And thank you, Barbara, for your words.